You're listening to The Jay Palmer Show.
Yeah. What's up, guys? I'm pissed. I've been generally pissed off for like a week now, and I think I finally come to the conclusion why I'm pissed. There's nothing I can do about it, because it is what it is. But yeah, I'm pissed. I've tried to do this show like 6 times in the last 3 days. But I think the reason why is because I'm just pissed, man. I'm pissed, and it keeps coming back to I'm gonna have you listen to a piece from Alan Watts. It's called "Life Is Not a Journey." It's on YouTube. You should check it out. And the fundamental reason why I'm pissed is I'm not a good actor. I can't act. I suck at acting. My entire life, every time I've been told to be every time I've been put into a situation where I have to act, I fail miserably because I can't act. And that very fundamental reason why I have never been successful in like a corporate setting or work setting is that fact. I cannot act. Because that's all it is. It's an act. And I suck at it. That's like wow, man. It's like I just had a revelation on myself. Then that's it. Because 90% of the 98% of the people out there are acting. I mean, it doesn't matter where they are fundamentally in their life. They always come back to that the same fundamental question. But let's listen to this video. It's pretty short. It's like a 4-minute video. That's really fucking loud.
The existence, the physical universe, is basically playful. There is no necessity for it whatsoever. It isn't going anywhere. That is to say, it doesn't have some destination that it ought to arrive at. But that it is best understood by analogy with music. Because music, as an art form, is essentially playful. We say you play the piano. You don't work the piano. Why? Music differs from, say, travel. When you travel, you are trying to get somewhere. One doesn't make the end of a composition the point of the composition. If that were so, the best conductors would be those who played fastest. And there would be composers who wrote only finales. People go to a concert just to hear one crashing chord, because that's the end. Same way in dancing. You don't aim at a particular spot in the room. That's where you should arrive. The whole point of the dancing is the dance. Now, but we don't see that as something brought by our education into our everyday conduct. We've got a system of schooling which gives a completely different impression. It's all graded. And what we do is we put the child into the corridor of this grade system with a kind of, come on, kitty, kitty, kitty. And yeah, you go to kindergarten, you know. And that's a great thing because when you finish that, you'll get into first grade. And then, come on, first grade leads to second grade and so on. And then you get out of grade school and you've got high school and it's revving up. The thing is coming. Then you're going to go to college, and by Jove, then you get into graduate school, and when you're through with graduate school, you go out to join the world. And then you get into some racket where you're selling insurance, and they've got that quota to make, and you're going to make that. And all the time, the thing is coming. It's coming. It's coming. That great thing, the success you're working for. Then when you wake up one day about 40 years old, you say, my God, I've arrived. I'm there. And you don't feel very different from what you always felt. By expectation. Look at the people who live to retire and put those savings away. And then when they're 65, they don't have any energy left. They're more or less impotent. And they go and rot in an old people's senior citizens community. Because we've simply cheated ourselves the whole way down the line. We thought of life by analogy with a journey, with a pilgrimage, which had a serious purpose at the end, and the thing was to get to that end, success or whatever it is, or maybe heaven after you're dead. But we missed the point the whole way along. It was a musical thing, and you were supposed to sing or to dance while the music was being played.
Oh, shit. Yep. Hang on. God dang it. Why is my computer acting like a douche? God damn it. Oh. I needed that video. I didn't realize that. I needed that video for a second. Because what the fuck, dude? Fundamentally, no, I guess that really doesn't fit in this situation. I think the reason I'm so angry right now is because of that very video. Like, part of me still believes that bullshit. Not what he's saying, but like what he's saying, but not. I'm not mad at the video. I'm mad at the system. But see, the whole fundamental of that is it's not about that video. Like, doesn't even correlate to what I'm talking about. I just realized that. What the fuck, dude? God, I even suck at this podcast. Number 7. What the fuck? Holy shit. Here, hang on. What the fuck? Oh, Jesus H fucking Christ. Oh, shit. See, that's too big of... I guess that still would work. That would still work. I mean, there's this video.
With morality than with anything else. Morality is a... So you see, the thing is that the game, there's always the fear, the underlying fear that the game may be given away.
You know, see, I think that right there is the fundamental issue right here. I keep saying that word, but yeah, I don't think it is at the same time. Like, I'm trying to tell people what life is bullshit, and I'm screaming in a forest full of deaf trees. That's what it is. I'm sitting here saying, "Hey, you all people are being fooled. You're being fooled," and everybody's looking at me like, "Shut up! I just want to drive my Lamborghini." Like, there is no use. It's like me during a zombie apocalypse. It's like I'm trapped in my own game. That's essentially what it is. I'm trapped. That's exactly what it is. I've trapped myself. Is that what it is? I mean, I'm not saying I'm any more important than the guy, because I'm not. I mean, shit. None of us are important. When we die, like, it'll go on. But I mean, that's frustrating. This is frustrating, man. That's what it is, though. The whole reason why I have not been successful in the corporate realm or in a job realm is that I haven't been a good actor. That's what it is. It's not that I don't try hard enough or I work hard enough or I don't put enough into it or, like, I don't communicate or any of that. It's the fact that I'm not a good actor. I can't go in there and do something that I fundamentally disagree with. And that's the problem. You know, I'm not saying they're the problem because or I'm not saying that the jobs are the problem. The people that I work with is the problem. I mean, they're fundamentally good people. But the fact with me is that I can't do that. I can't be fake. My God, I thought my recorder shut off there for a second. I just felt had, you know, that would have been the seventh time. Like, I can't. All the times that I've been put close to leadership roles and I've bombed is because I refuse to play the game. So what the fuck am I supposed to do then? I mean, that's if I fundamentally disagree with this game, and the game that I'm referring to is the same outlet by which you have to make money to live in the game, like, is that, you know, am I guaranteeing myself a world of perpetual poverty? I mean, what the fuck is on TV right now? Like, Jackie, the assassination of JFK is seen through the eyes of Jackie Kennedy. Okay, that makes sense now. I understand what's happening now. That made sense. You know, and I realize that my whole idea or my whole philosophy is, like, very, very, like, limited amount of people on this planet. I mean, I don't know. Like, I was just driving home from Arby's. I was like, you know what my problem is? I'm not a good actor. And that's just kind of like where this podcast is coming from. See, I mean, the whole thing is like, okay, let's... Oh, I just dropped my knife. God damn it. I'll get it later. It's bugging me, though. I mean, I could walk into work next week and be in, like, you know, I could play the game. I could work the 100 hours a week with this idea that by moving up, it's going to improve my life significantly. I could sacrifice everything that I've ever believed in order to, you know, give people the illusion that I'm out to help them. I could do all that. That is easy. You know, people always talk about this struggle of working all these hours and trying to better themselves, and at the end of the day, they're really not any better than they were before. They are physically, they have better stuff they can touch, but they're not better overall. They're not a better overall person. They think they are. I mean, is that something that I should do? Should I go into work, put 100 hours a week in, and expect anything good to come out of it? I mean, what good will come out of it? I mean, that's just like... I'll tell you what'll come out of it. More of the same. Because the thing is, like, I'm consistently top numbers in productivity where I work, and I'm being paid the same. Like, there's no appreciation for it. But the thing is, if I put a little bit more in, if I put 5 more hours a week in, everybody will be praising me. So I have to sacrifice my own stuff for their stuff, and then they'll tell me that that's such a scam, dude. I have to sacrifice myself for them in order for me to become a better person. Think about that for a second. You're giving all up who you are for the pleasure of others. That's such a bullshit scam. And if I don't do that, if I don't do that very thing, I am called a selfish person. But yet on the other side, when they constantly want more stuff out of me for themselves, for their own image, for their own well-being, they're not selfish. I'm the selfish person. That just fundamentally is just ass backwards. I mean, is it backwards? Because it's the same thing on both sides. It's like, I'm selfish for not giving more for you, but when I do give more, you're not being selfish. Oh no, when I'm giving more for you to look good, you're not being selfish. But for me to give less, I'm being selfish. See, this is the problem with words. This is the very issue that I have with words, that the words don't mean anything. That's coming from a guy that does a podcast. God damn it, dude. I mean, how do you win in that in that situation? Like, the whole reason why I give less at my job. Well, I don't really want to go into that because it's kind of like, you know, a personal thing. But there's reasons why I don't give more at my job. Because for one, that company has proven to me that the more I give, I'm just going to get more taken away from me, more time taken away from me. I'm not going to get any more money.
Now that...
And by doing that, by giving less to them, I'm giving more to myself to grow myself. Whether that's in my, you know, my scripture reading I do after work every day, or, you know, the books that I'm reading on philosophy, you know, that kind of stuff. The time that I invest into just thinking and reading and observing, you know, that gives more time into me and more time into, you know, this podcast. I realized I only do this podcast once a week because that's just, I don't have that much content to give this show more than once a week. My life is fundamentally boring. I'm not going to lie. You know, we did enhance it a bit. gave me more to talk about. And it made everything hilarious. But, yeah, I mean, it's not that exciting. I feel good. I needed to get that out. I really needed to get that out. And the next time somebody uses that on you, just tell them to go fuck themselves. I mean, if it's your boss, probably don't. I wouldn't say that, but or no, don't even just say that. Just walk away. I mean, because fundamentally we're all selfish. There's actually a talk on this somewhere. I don't know who. Oh, it's a 15-minute talk. Oh, I guess let's try it here. There might be some fundamentally good stuff in here we might be able to see here.
The whole history of religion is a history of the failure of preaching. Preaching is moral violence. If when you deal with the so-called practical world and people don't behave as you would wish they would, you get out the army or the police force or the big stick, and if those strike you as somewhat crude, you resort to giving lectures. And I mean lectures in the sense of a pie jaw, a solemn adjuration and exhortation to behave better next time. Now, let us look at some of the practical consequences of adjuring people and commanding people to love. Many a parent says to the child, nice children love their mothers. And, of course, I'm sure you're a nice child. You ought to love your mother, but not because your mother, say so, but because you really want to do so. Because one of the difficulties is none of us in our heart of hearts respect love which is not freely given. If, for example, you are an ailing parent and you need to be looked after and you have a son or daughter who feels dutifully that they should look after you because, after all, you've done so much for them, but this somehow, your living with your father or mother prevents you from having a home and a life of your own, naturally you resent this duty, and your parent is well aware that you resent it, even if they pretend to ignore it. They therefore feel guilty that they have imposed upon your loyalty, and you, in turn, can't really disclose from yourself the fact that you hate them for getting sick, even though they couldn't help it. And therefore nobody enjoys the relationship. It is a painful duty carried out. And the same thing would naturally happen if, after a number of years, having at the altar made a solemn and terrible promise that you would love your wife and husband, come what may, forever and ever, till death do you part, and then suddenly you find you really haven't the heart in you to do it anymore, then you feel guilty, and that you ought to love your wife, family, or whatever, and naturally, this is a sort of fiasco, as would be obvious, if you were to ask your wife, do you really love me? And she were to reply, I'm trying very hard to do so. You see, the difficulty of it is this.
And, see, that is another example. I just dawned on me. Okay. And I've had this issue where, like well, let's say, okay, we've all had a boss where, I've had previous bosses like this. The previous boss in the same organization that I work with was like this, where, like, if, she would treat you differently, like, let's say you willingly worked. She would appreciate those people more than the people who she would have to convince to work, or I'm sorry. Okay, so the people who willingly worked overtime, would be appreciated more than the people who were asked to work overtime. And that's exactly what he's talking about there. It's the same thing. It's like, and you know, that's you know, AAA examples of you know, manipulating people. I mean, that's. I mean, what else is that? I mean, like, you know, if you don't work this shift, you are a selfish person, and I can't have selfish people work for this organization. But you know, that right there is manipulation. They're just trying to manipulate you.
You cannot teach a selfish person to be unselfish by any means. That is to say, whatever a selfish person does, whether it be giving his body to be burned or giving all that he possesses to the poor, he will still do it in a selfish way of feeling. And he will be able to do this with extreme cunning, a marvelous self-deception, and deception of others besides. But the consequences of fake love are almost invariably destructive, because they build up resentment on the part of the person who does the fake loving, as well as on the part of those who are its recipients. This is why the foreign aid program has been such a dismal failure.
I think I'm just going to end it there because, you know, yeah, man. I mean, I was like, the first thing that I said to myself when I heard him say that is mental health. Just mental health. Holy shit, man. Holy shit.
The Jay Palmer Show is hosted on Podbean.com. Download the app on iOS and Android and listen anytime, anywhere.
See you later.